Hi everyone, welcome to YCamp. It's Marissa here at beautiful YMCA Cedar Glen Outdoor Center. Today for our last installment of Arts and Crafts, we are going to be making these lovely grass heads, which you should be able to find with materials you have around your house. So what you'll need to join us today in order to make this lovely craft is an old pair of stockings or nylons, whatever you have. You can see for my samples I used these two old pairs that I had just in the house. You will need some soil, potting soil if you have some, or if you just dig in your garden and get some soil, that's great. Wood chips or sawdust, really fine wood chips or sawdust would work as well if you don't have soil. You need just a small empty pail or container to help make your grass head ready. Some scissors, just a tiny little bit of grass seed, and then you'll need a shallow plate or dish to set your finished craft in so that you'll be able to water it. You'll also need some items to decorate and make a face on your craft if that's what you wanted to do. Before we get started, I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge the land that we are on today. We recognize that YMCA Cedar Glen is situated on the traditional territories of the Indigenous people that lived and still live around the Great Lakes Basin. This parcel of land is part of European Treaty Number 13, also known as the Toronto Purchase. We recognize it also under the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Treaty, which was created by distinct Indigenous nations living around the Great Lakes to peaceably share and care for the land and its resources. Before we get started, I also wanted to do the last Never Can Tell. So I think we've done the green glass room, and the one last time was about the moon with two eyes, a nose, and a mouth. And so today we're going to do one about peaches because it's summer, and summer in Southern Ontario is peach season. That's where I am today. So the Never Can Tell sounds like this. Peaches, peaches, very fine peaches, the very best peaches in town. So in order to be part of the Never Can Tell Club, you need to be able to figure out what I'm doing that's making that saying special, figure it out, and see if you can do it back to someone else. So I'll do it again for you one more time. Peaches, peaches, very fine peaches, the very best peaches in town. See if you can figure that one out while we work on our craft. So I've already gone over the materials, so hopefully you've had a chance to gather everything you need. Let's get started on making our very own grass head or chia pet. I did make these samples about a couple of weeks ago. It will take time, obviously, for the grass to grow up out of the top. So make sure if you want it for a certain date that you do it well in advance so you'll have time for it to water it every day and time for it to grow. So the first thing you want to do is take your pair of stockings. I think I'm going to use these purple ones. So you can see I've made kind of like an alien creature here with purple, and I'm going to use purple again. So what you need to use for this activity is the toe of the stockings, okay? If you really don't have a toe, you could tie a knot and put it on the inside, but the toe does work the best. And if you can find stockings that do not have a reinforced toe, that will make it easier for the grass to grow up through. Okay, so you need a length of stocking, maybe about 8 to 10 inches long to start. So just roughly measure that out and then use your scissors to chop off that piece of stocking. Well, these are not very sharp scissors, but I think I can do it. All right. So there's my piece of stocking. The toe is here and the top I've just cut right here. So now you want your empty pail. If you don't have a pail, you could use a bowl, or a big margarine or yogurt container could work too. And what you want to do is just stretch your stocking open as much as you can and kind of put it over the top like this. This will help you get the dirt into, or the soil, whatever you're using, into the pail or into the stocking. So you can see I've just stretched it over the top. It's not right in the middle, but that's okay. And here's the hole that goes down to the toe of my stocking. So that's that. Next step is to put in some seeds because the toe is the top of the head, and so you want the seeds right at the top. So I think about a 1/4 cup of seeds is about what you need. That's a good size adult handful like that. Maybe if you're smaller, it's 2 handfuls. And you just want to sprinkle that into the bottom. And make sure it goes right down. Okay. And put my seeds aside. So the next step is going to be to just scoop some dirt into the grass head until it's about the size you want. So you'll see I'll just use my little shovel, scoop the dirt in. If you have any big sticks in your dirt like I do, you might want to take those out. And then, whoa! And then I just kind of use my hand to push it in. And then once it's down, a little bit more, and then just kind of push it in until you get the size you want. So you see my samples, I have one that's a bit bigger and one that's a bit smaller. So whatever you like, it's totally up to you as far as how big you want to make it. I think that's probably good for me, right there. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm just gonna bounce and make sure that you want the soil to be fairly tightly packed as well. If it's really loose, you're not gonna get a solid sort of round shape. It'll be more like a flat potato almost. So I just kind of use my fist and just kind of bang down that soil so it stretches into the bottom of the stocking. So once you've got your soil snug into the toe of the stocking, you're just gonna remove it from your pail or whatever you've got it on. Double check that you like the size. This one's a bit smaller, but I like that. And then you're gonna kind of use your hands again to get it as tight into the bottom of the stocking as you can. And then you just want to make sure your seeds, you might need to use your fingers a little bit, but make sure your seeds are kind of spread out over the top. Unless you wanted just a stripe of seeds down the middle, you could do that too, whatever you wanted for your grass head. Okay, so the next thing you're gonna do, once it's all snug, is you're just gonna tie an overhand knot. Now you do need to get it pretty tight to the ball of soil that's in there, so you might need an adult's help. But basically what I'm doing is I'm just twisting a loop and pulling the tail of the stocking through. So once I'm done tying the knot, it looks just like this. I've got my grass head part on the top. I can use my hands to shape it a bit if I want. The seeds are on the top in the toe part of the stocking here. And then I've got this really long tail. You don't need the tail to be that long, unless of course you wanted to, I don't know, stuff it and make some sort of body for your grass head. You could do that. But I like to just trim mine short. So I'll just use my not so great scissors again and see if I can trim off that piece of stocking there. Oh man. Okay. So now you can see it's short. That will become the bottom of my grass head. Okay. So I'm just kind of using my hands to make it round. So there it is. Doesn't look like much yet, but this is the base for the grass head. So the next steps are going to be to decorate it, put a face on it, or whatever you want to do to make it fun and cute, like these guys right here. So as you can see, I just went to the dollar store. I used some googly eyes, some pipe cleaners, and pom-poms to make faces. But if you had different things around your house, you could do that too. Yarn would be great. You could use buttons or sequins. Whatever you have, really, you can be very creative. You can do a face like this with a smiley face, or you can make a kind of an alien creature like this. Really, whatever you want goes. Okay. One thing to keep in mind though is that I did, when I glued this stuff on, I did use a hot glue gun, because this grass head's going to get wet when you water it, of course, for the seeds to grow. And I thought that white glue would just, if it got wet again, it might just become soft and the eyes would pop off or something like that. If you don't have a hot glue gun, or you don't have an adult to help you use a hot glue gun, it's okay. I would say glue your face on, then give it a while to completely dry before you water your grass head for the first time. So maybe do your face, let it dry for 4 or 5 hours, then water it. And I think that way you'd be okay. If you use hot glue, of course, you should, once the glue's dry and hard, you should be able to water your grass head right away. So take some time now and decorate your grass head, and then you can check back and I'll show you what the next steps are. So when your grass head is ready to go, that means you put whatever decorations on it you want. The next step will be to water it. Remember, make sure your glue is dry before you water. But I just have this old camping plate that I don't use anymore when I go on camping trips, and I just put my grass head right in it. And then I just took some plain old tap water and poured it on. And I watered it every day for a couple weeks, and then the grass started to grow. What's really fun thing to do with these grass heads, once the grass grows, you can practice giving them a haircut. So if you've got a pair of scissors, you can just trim the grass, and you can give them all sorts of different shapes of haircuts, whatever you like, which is a fun thing to do. And if you wait another week or so, just like the grass in the park or on your front lawn, it'll grow back and you can trim it again. That's how you make a grass head. So just make sure when you do it, you get the seeds right in the toe of the stocking, fill it up with the soil or whatever your seeds are going to grow in, put it on a shallow dish, and then make sure you water it. Keep it nice and moist and damp for a couple weeks, and you should get some nice grass hair growing out of your little craft right there. If you're working on your online certification this summer, make sure you go to ymcahome.ca/YCamp and tell us how you did with this natural arts and crafts project today. Also, if you're enjoying the YCamp videos, make sure you subscribe online and consider making a small donation to your local Y summer camp. Before we go, I just wanted to finish the Peaches, Never Can Tell with you. So again, I'll do it 2 more times for you and see if you can catch what the trick is. What is the thing that I'm doing each and every time that makes this saying special? Peaches, peaches, very fine peaches, the very best peaches in town. Did you catch it? It's not so much about what I'm saying, the peaches saying, it's more that I'm clearing my throat every time before I say the peaches rhyme. Peaches, peaches, very fine peaches, the very best peaches in town. So just make sure you clear your throat first, and then you can join the Never Can Tell Club for the peaches rhyme. Thanks for joining YCamp today. It was really fun making the grass head craft with you. I hope you try it at home and have a lot of fun with that this summer. We'll see you soon.